Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, it's Wednesday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by the Alberni Power and Marine RPM Group. Located in Port Alberni, Alberni Power and Marine is one of Vancouver Island's most trusted boat dealerships, the largest Mercury Marine dealership in Canada. Their service team just won for the fourth consecutive year a customer satisfaction index score above the national average. Make your appointment today for the 2022 boating season at albernipowermarine.com. You finished with the hot dog talk, the wiener talk?
Oh, man, you're getting ripped for the ketchup.
We're joined now by John Shannon, NHL Analyst, co-host of the Bob McCowan podcast. John, thanks for doing this a day early. How are you, sir?
Well, my eyes are watering based on the last conversation you guys had. I mean, and by the way, Donnie, bang on about the ketchup.
What?
Yeah. Bang on.
What?
Over the age of 8, you can't have it on.
Stop it, 8.
Listen, I spent all those years in New York City walking down the street. If I had asked for ketchup on my hot dog on the street corner, I probably would have been run over by a bus.
Yeah.
You just don't ask for ketchup on a hot dog. You don't.
But it's there.
A good idea.
At hockey games, the option is there. Ketchup and mustard. It's right there.
Hamburgers.
Listen, there's lots of options that are at games, Rick. Doesn't mean you have to do them.
That's right.
Come on now. You know that.
Hey, John, before we get into the Canucks, I wanted to bring this up. Bob Cole received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Canadian Screen Awards on the weekend. What are your memories of working with the great Bob Cole on Hockey Night in Canada?
Oh, gosh. So many. Talked to him last week. He's doing fine, living life in St. John's. The one thing I would tell you is that we always end up talking about Mount Rushmores and things like this on this show about the value of people. But Bob Cole was one of the greatest play-by-play announcers in the history of the National Hockey League.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. And what I would tell you that put him at the top of the list was no one had a better sense of anticipation. No one could put you on the edge of your seat better and faster with something that might happen in the next 10 seconds than Bob Cole. I mean, when you were listening to Bob and he would come and the puck would be close to center ice and he would say, "Watch out, here they come." You had to pay attention. You knew that he could see something forming on the ice that made it worthwhile watching. And to me, his sense of anticipation of the game, of the flow of the game, was greater than anybody else's.
Yeah. Yeah, he had that X factor that I think you're born with it, John. It was just tremendous. You're washing the dishes or something, you hear his voice, you snap your head around, and sure enough, something special happened. He really had that. Hey, I don't want to knock Austin Matthews, but there's a lot of hype surrounding him regarding the Hart Trophy, and rightfully so. He's the front runner. Johnny Gaudreau, 101 points. He gets a couple of assists last night, over 100 points. Now has 101. Are some of us forgetting about Johnny Gaudreau and the fact that he might very well be a Hart Trophy candidate?
Well, I think he is a Hart Trophy candidate. I think you have to put him in that top 5. You have to put him alongside McDavid and Matthews and probably Roman Josi and and
Draisaitl.
I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Well, no, it's interesting. I think that you're going to have to make a decision in Edmonton whether it is one or the other, and I still think that at this point it's Connor. Leon has been phenomenal. He scored another power play goal last night, more than any other Oiler player in history in a regular season. He scored another power play goal, 21 now. But in the end, I think that, value to his team, I do think that it's Connor McDavid in Edmonton. But how about the fact that we're talking about Hart Trophy candidates and at least 3 of them are from Canadian teams? I think that speaks volumes to where the game is in our country and how exciting the game is. And I do think that Gaudreau gets overshadowed in so many ways simply because of the size of the market and the times that his games are seen. Remember, 60% of the population of our continent are in the Eastern time zone. And it's not fair, but it's a reality of what we deal with. It's what we deal with media writing and reporting and voting on these types of awards. So I don't think that Gaudreau gets near the attention that he should and he deserves.
John, how impressed with the Canucks are you? 8 games to go, 4-game winning streak. They're hanging in there. They could have easily been, out 10 days ago. And they just took 5 out of 6 points from Vegas. They're still in it, and despite a lot of people thought they might not be in it.
Well, and I tell you what, the point you guys made earlier about the Detroit game and the Buffalo game. Imagine if they had been able to win both of those games.
Yeah, big time.
How much more exciting it would be. I look at this team. I look at what guys like Quinn Hughes did last night. Pettersson, you're right. He's been playing much better. JT Miller has been there all season long. You wonder how much gas is left in the tank for Miller. He looked a little tired last night at times. And then there's Thatcher Demko, who in my mind has been the best goalie in hockey since Christmas. And he's the key reason why this hockey team is as close to the playoffs as they are. The other thing to remember, guys, on December 1st, if I had told you that they were going to be fighting for a playoff spot or at least have games in late April to think that they were close to a playoff spot, you would have thought I was smoking something. This is an amazing story what the Vancouver Canucks have done in this short period of time, and most of it is deserved for the players. They've done a magnificent job in turning this season around.
Same thing in Calgary, where I think a few weeks ago, a lot of people are saying, you know what, they're not that good, and they just keep winning. Johnny Gaudreau, 100th point last night, John. He's a UFA. I'm going to guess it's getting tougher every week. It's going to be tougher to re-sign this guy.
Well, they'll find the money if he wants to stay. And I think that's the one thing, Rick, is that if Gaudreau wants to stay in Alberta, where he's had a great deal of success, the Flames will find a way to make it work. It becomes whether he wants to stay in Western Canada. He just got married in the off season. You have to wonder what impact that has, because families play a role when guys get new contracts. But if it's Philadelphia, if it's New Jersey, or if it's Calgary, don't you want to play on a contender? And last I checked, the Flyers aren't going to be a contender. The Devils are striding to get to be one, but they're not there yet. And Calgary truly is a contender. I think that might have something to do with it as well.
Yeah, and you bring that up because he grew up in that area. A Flyers fan, a Devils fan. That would make sense.
One quick story about Gaudreau, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Is his dad was at the game last night, Guy.
Yep.
And you know how Guy Gaudreau learned how to play the game? You know who his mentor was?
No idea.
Howie Meeker.
Oh.
Guy Gaudreau used to go and work at Howie Meeker's hockey school in Potsdam, New York.
Wow.
And a lot of what Johnny Gaudreau has learned about the game over the years comes right out of Howie's playbook. And so, that hockey tree that we talk about all the time and how things are different is in the end, Howie Meeker to Guy Gaudreau to Johnny Gaudreau. And here he is, another factor in the National Hockey League. And that was 50 years ago when Guy Gaudreau was working at Howie's hockey school.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about Bob Cole being so special on Hockey Night in Canada. Let's not forget Howie Meeker and the telestrator and just that personality that oozed through the television, John.
So good.
Well, those were the golden years of Hockey Night in Canada that Ralph Mellenby created. And that's really the standard by which all hockey broadcasts are measured by.
Yep. Totally agree. We could go on and on. We said this about Thomas Drance. We could go on and on with him.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with John.
But I can't use big words like Drance used corollary.
Yeah,
Drance uses big words.
He uses words.
You can't use. I have a rule. You can't use words larger than marmalade.
Yeah, so only so many syllables. And John, I'm glad you brought that word up. I can't even say it because we were shaking our heads, going, "What the hell is he talking about?" But everything else we understood.
Thomas wants to think he's smart. Thomas is just like the rest of us. But if you use big words and smoke and mirrors, you got a chance.
All right. No ketchup on a hot dog. To sum things up. Yes, and respect Howie Meeker. John, thanks for this.
Cheers, boys.